Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of Juan on One Coaching, where we believe we not only have the right to control our lives, we deserve to create them. Today, I wanted to share something that I discovered about myself, a pattern that seems to be repeating, and I'm trying to figure out what is the lesson or what is the thing that I continue to repeat so that I can address it and change it. So if you notice something, feel free to comment and give me ideas on what you're noticing. So this pattern seems to repeat, and it repeated in 4 different situations, or at least in 4 different stages. It's once in high school, in college, in my corporate job, and then after corporate, it seems to be present. So in high school, I was fairly passionate about being honest and staying in integrity with things, and I let people know about it. So I had this idea that I had to tell the truth, even if it hurt, and I also thought I was right all the time, or not all the time, but I also thought that my opinion had a lot of weight because I was very thoughtful, and that's just my personality. Evidently, when you start telling people the truth, especially teens and young adults, I created a know-it-all perception. So I started alienating people, and I also became frustrated when people would not necessarily listen to some of the ideas I had, and I started acting up about it. So I would slam doors or slam books and let people know that I was mad about it. And it was just a very lonely time for me, and only a handful of people took the time to go beyond the surface and build a relationship with me. So those were kind of like my friends. Then in college, it was slightly different, but probably a similar outcome in the sense that since I learned my things from high school, I went to college and I kept to myself. I kept my opinions to myself. I didn't really interact with a lot of people. I interacted, but I didn't share really what I thought or what I was passionate about, which resulted in no friends, no relationships. I wasn't necessarily interested in some of the other things that my classmates were into, so I simply didn't engage. So I felt out of place. I felt alone in many ways, and I didn't have anyone to have meaningful conversations. So that was a problem. So then I went to the corporate environment, and in the corporate environment, I was more aware of my shortcomings, but I still had this passion for challenging the status quo, for doing the right thing for the employees and the customers, and always sharing my opinions and ideas. And since I was so confident in what I was saying, even if I could accept that I was wrong at times, people will still perceive it as me thinking I'm a know-it-all, and therefore I started alienating people. People may started thinking I was just complaining about things for fun, and again, I didn't build many relationships. I had relationships with my coworkers and things like that, but it wasn't a deep friendship in a sense. And I felt alone, felt out of place. And then the same thing happens after I was laid off. Trying to decide what should I do, what is my next path. I'm going into self-employment, figuring that out, and then I realize most of those relationships that I had in my corporate job are no longer present. People that I talk to every single day, I don't talk to anymore, and some of them don't even ask me how I'm doing. Most of them probably don't even care or care enough to ask, and that's nothing wrong with them. I'm just sharing my perception of my experience from it. So I'm feeling alone, and then it didn't make it easier when my closest family members don't necessarily support what I'm doing, or they're stressed about the situation. So that's kind of like the 4 different stages that seem to repeat. I feel out of place, I'm somewhat alone, and I keep adapting my message to make things work. So there are 2 ways I'm seeing this. Option number 1 is I created those scenarios and I'm getting what I deserve. Yes, that's what everyone can argue, that I'm the common thread. I did things that created those circumstances and I'm getting the results of those circumstances. And that's probably the one that I've been using the most until recently, because I used to take 100% responsibility for what I did. So I always said, if no one's listening, it's because I'm doing something wrong. It's because I'm saying it the wrong way, I'm saying it at the wrong time, and I need to change that. And think about how stressful that is. But that's kind of how I approach it. The second option is that I'm simply just talking to the wrong people, the wrong crowd, and at the wrong place, or not necessarily the wrong time, but just the wrong place and the wrong crowd. And I'm saying that because I've noticed that the same message has created good reactions from people outside of my network, but then no reactions from people in my network. And I'm not sure whether I'm right or wrong, it just seems to be the impression. So now I'm getting this idea that, hey, I'm probably just talking to the wrong people. Why do I continue to force myself to fit my message to that group of people that doesn't really want to listen? And I should just focus my energy on finding those who want to listen and need to listen to it, and they'll probably find something useful from them. So that's where I'm at with that. That's what I'm learning. That's what I'm processing at this moment. Let me know if you notice anything specific, if you get any ideas, any techniques, because what I'm looking forward to do, the people that I think need to hear my message are these successful professionals who have reached a point in which they feel like they're no longer challenged. Maybe they feel like they sacrifice a lot of their life to find success at work, and they want to go back to having a little bit more time for themselves, but they're afraid of what people might think if they change the pace, and they may be afraid of their performance going down if they take a little more time off at work. So I'm looking to work with those people. If you know somebody, invite them to the conversation. If you're that type of person, feel free to let me know, and let's just schedule a chat and just talk. There's no pressure, no obligation to do it, but I'd love to hear your perspective and see if we can help each other out. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.